And there we go. We are live. What's up, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Chris. This is my channel, Barnon 11970. It is 5:28 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the 19th of December, 2016. And I'd like to welcome everybody as they come in. And the results have officially been tabulated to the point of 270 plus electoral votes. Texas just came in with the final numbers to bring it over the top. And as the people voted, Donald Trump is the president of the United States of America Corporation. So it has been official. So as of now, just this moment, I'm watching it live. The state of Texas just came in with, I think, 36 votes, but he only needed 2 at that point. So it is now official. So he will be, as of now, the president of the corporation known as the United States. So I wanted to report that to everybody, and I hope everybody is doing well. And if you've been watching the news lately, what I find funny is, well, I was watching this pretty much live all day to see what was going on with this and see if there was going to be any false flag events or any situations or problems or anything like that. And it's funny, I'm watching the live shows and I'm seeing people leaving their comments and everything. And every time, like the camera froze or something like that, everybody would say, oh, it looks like the Russians are hacking the system. And it basically proves the point of how easily people can be manipulated into regurgitating everything that mainstream media wants to propagate to you. And the fact that they never had any proof of it just goes to show how easily they could just say something. And there's an old saying that says, if you repeat a lie long enough, it becomes the truth. So even the people in the comment sections, whether they were doing it in jest or they really meant it, every single one of them was regurgitating the basically Russia hacking the system. So I would love to know how they would hack this system. I'm sure, the mainstream media will find some way to actually try and do something like that. But to me, ultimately, it doesn't really matter who is president because this is, after all, a corporation. So make no mistakes about that. But at least it's, what people were hoping for as far as their choice between the two. If you had the choice between Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump, as of now, I'm sure most people who are in the know would prefer it to be Trump. But make no mistake, he's just going to be a better slave owner for all of us slaves in this corporation known as the United States. So, this whole thing is a setup. It's a game. It's an act. That's why they have crisis actors. And it's always funny that, they talk about crisis actors. You look at the word ISIS in the middle of crisis, and what a surprise. So I just wanted to report that it is official. He is not sworn in until basically the end of January of next year. So anything can happen at that point. I would expect a lot more protests today, a lot of people whining and complaining on the left-hand side. The mainstream media will find everything under the sun to try and make this into something bigger than it is. At this point, most people will probably, I at least hope, not take the mainstream media seriously. And one thing I want to report, since everybody was talking about Russia and how you're programmed, to keep regurgitating that same thing over and over again, even though they did not post 1 ounce of proof, they've actually, I've seen a bunch of reports now. Now, I can't say if it's official or not, but they were saying that it wasn't the Russians that were hacking the system, that it was actually the Department of Homeland Security, our own country, which doesn't surprise me one bit. And who is in charge of all that ultimately? Well, that would be Obama, because he's responsible for what the people underneath him do. Isn't he supposed to be taking responsibility for that? So if you actually look this up, DHS, the Department of Homeland Security, was allegedly the ones that were hacking the system. Because you saw when Jill Stein, that was backed up by Hillary Clinton, because Jill Stein wasn't trying to do the recount for herself, because she would have had no chance. They were trying to find out by doing recounts in states to see what was going on, if there was any rigging. And they actually found some rigging where it was actually in favor of Trump, that they were actually more votes for Hillary than there were voters in specific states. So it actually backfired, at least for them. But it just shows how easily this could be corrupted. I mean, the system has to change because lest we forget, this is not a democracy. We started out as a republic, and we've been brainwashed into this democracy and into this socialism that we're starting to head towards. Hopefully, that will change direction if the people decide to, understand or understand or realize, because you need real eyes to see, that we are the ones that control this if we stand up and make our voices heard. If we just sit back and let other people take control, well, we're basically saying we're putting our trust in you to do the right thing. And so far, our governments throughout the world have not proven that they are there to help the average person, because they call us average, they call us common, they call us the regular people. Like for some reason, they're better than us, or more superior because they have more fiat currency in their bank accounts. So I'm not going to keep this long. I just wanted to let everybody know that as of now, Texas did make the votes that do take him over the 270 needed to become the president of the United States of America Corporation. So unless there's some kind of false flag or some kind of situation happens, he will be sworn in as our 45th president of this corporation. And we'll see what happens. I am very pessimistic with this, not because I am trying to be Mr., Debbie Downer. It's just I've seen how the system works, and unfortunately, it's not meant to help the I hate saying the average citizen, but the poorer, the middle class and the poor, which is the majority of the people. It's all of these systems, no matter who's running it, throughout the world. It's all about enriching the smaller few, and we, for some reason, allow that to continue as long as they give us a couple of their little trinkets to keep us, not starving to death to the point where we have to react. So I'm looking forward to seeing what's going to happen. Let's check the price of gold as of now, the gold and silver. As of now, no major change. I mean, gold right now is at $1,138, up $3. Silver is hitting its 16 even, so it has dropped. And by the way, I made a prediction saying about what will happen with gold and silver if Trump becomes president. I said that if Trump became president, gold and silver would go up and the market would go down. Well, that's exactly what happened when he became, he won the votes on November 9th. Now, I didn't say how long it would stay that way because I know the system's corrupt, because all they have to do to change the price and lower it is by smashing it with paper currency, the paper notes, the GLD and the SLV. But I am still buying physical gold and silver, and I still haven't changed my thought process because I think of it for the future. And as we could see, they even Trump, as of now, he's still going to be using the Federal Reserve. That is going to print more currency. That's going to devalue the currency, putting us further and further in debt, and it just cannot sustain that way for long. I mean, you're starting to see, and this is one of the things where I think, the current route that they're going with the monetary system is going to make it impossible for any of us to be able to get anything. I mean, 10 years ago, the average price of a car was under $10,000. Now the average price of the cheapest cars are $20,000. It's doubled. Houses, how many people can afford a mortgage? A death pledge. That you look that up, actually. That's why you have a mortuary and a morgue. It's not a coincidence that mortgage has the word mort in it, which has to do with death. It's a death pledge. But the more they print this currency, the more things get so expensive to the point, how is anybody going to afford anything? Who's buying cars brand new cash anymore? Unless you're very wealthy. So it's squeezing out the people, and that cannot last for long. So that's why I am still promoting gold and silver, and even though I don't talk about it as much, I mean, I can only say the same thing so many times. I have so many videos you could check out, but I am definitely pro gold and silver, and if it drops in price, to me, it's getting something on sale because it's the only commodity that's going down now, and they've proven that the reason that it's going down is banks were caught, like Deutsche Bank and other banks actually with emails proving that they talk to one another to smash down the prices. This is not conspiracy theories anymore. There's actually lawsuits where one of the banks settled out of court for like 35 to 38 million dollars, which is a slap in the wrist because they probably stole billions from people. So they're going to continue to do it. So that's the sad part. Not only did they get caught and no one's really doing anything and no one's going to jail, but they're still doing it. So that's why all the people say, oh, well, why do you trust gold and silver when the price is going down? Well, we know why. And if you actually look at real prices, like what happened over in India, for example, or if you see what happens when there is some kind of event, all of a sudden people swarm the precious metals. It happens all the time. So at times when there's uncertainty, that's when you'll see the major changes and the major swings. And if you see a major turnaround, it could happen so quickly that by the time you see it, the price will have been doubled or tripled at one point to the point where you may not even be able to afford it anymore. So that's why I always tell people to be careful for the world. Well, if you had it stored and you already had it, you don't have to worry about it when you need it. That's why I always say it's better to get things 5 years too early than 5 seconds too late. So that's all I wanted to say. I hope you guys are enjoying your weekend. It's getting ready for the Christmas time. One of the things I always say is check all of the laws that they put out around the holidays because they love it when people are distracted. Because remember, the Patriot Act was done on Christmas Eve. I'm sorry, New Year's Eve. And also what started the Federal Reserve happened right before Christmas in 1913, the Federal Reserve Act. So they love to do these things right around holidays. So keep your eye out for those things. And let's not stay silent anymore. You could start to see cracks in their walls. Their control is not as easy anymore because we, the people, are starting to speak up. We're no longer afraid. And the more people that join in, the more power we gain. And you notice we can make change without causing violence. You could see on the left side when they protested and doing the riots and destroying property and things like that, what did it change? It changed nothing. So that should prove that violence does not change anything. It just makes things harder for yourself. You have to change your way and have a different point of view and see you get them by eliminating their food source. Their food source is the monetary system. You stop giving them your money, they get nervous. So I want to thank everybody. I just tell everybody all the time, do not live in fear. No matter what happens in this world, if you are prepared, you don't have to worry about what 90% of the people who procrastinate or make fun of this stuff will have to deal with. So just be diligent. Get out of bank accounts, open up a federal credit union, get out of debt. Please, especially during this holiday season, don't use your credit cards and add more to the system because all it's going to do is ultimately hurt us all by doing that. You have to sometimes make sacrifices. You got to make a step back to make 2 steps forward. So if we want real change, we have to put in the effort. And that is sometimes sacrificing some of the things that may be a little convenient in order to see the bigger picture in the future. So keep sticking with your physical gold and silver. Stay away from the paper markets. I don't trust Wall Street any further than I can throw them. They're gambling with our money, our currency. They borrow more and more of it, and they just hand us the bill. And for some reason, we accept it and think it's our duty to pay for it while they drive around in their stretch limos and in their Lear jets, and we get to wonder when our next meal is going to come from. So let's stop feeding the beast and start taking our lives back. And that means you have to lose the fear and stand up and don't settle for their lies. Stop the programming. And that means you have to shut it down. So thanks for watching. I hope you all have a great day. And remember, say it with me. Don't forget to have your trolls spayed or neutered.